Hey guys, today we're talking about identifying angle relationships. So on Friday we talked about triangles and the triangle sum theorem, and we know that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Yesterday we talked about the exterior angle theorem, which said that the two remote interior angles, the ones farthest away from the exterior angle, equal that exterior angle. And today we're going to talk about having parallel lines cut by a transversal. So first I want to kind of talk about what a transversal is, because this is probably the first time you're hearing about that. A transversal is a line that passes through two lines. A line that passes through two lines. So if I look at this picture down here, I've got two lines, and then here is my line passing through it. So it kind of cuts the two lines that way. So my transversal would be that C line right here. So line C is called our transversal. And if I look at lines A and B, those are the ones I highlighted in blue. A and B are what? What do you notice about these two lines? What do these arrows mean? Yeah, these arrows mean that these two lines are going to go on forever and ever, like all the way to infinity, never going to stop. And you notice that they're never going to touch. They're going to go on forever, but they're never, ever going to meet. So those are our parallel lines. Parallel lines. So as you can see with this picture, when I have the two parallel lines and I cut it by a transversal, all of a sudden I get all of these angles that are formed with this picture. There's 8 different angles that are formed, and there's different relationships between these angles to tell if I'm given just one angle out of this whole picture, I'll be able to find all of the other angles in the picture. So what I want to do is flip to the back. And the first one I want to talk about is corresponding angles. So that's this right here. And what I want you to do is grab your spaghetti. So you should have 3 sticks of spaghetti. And you're going to make your first 2 your parallel lines. Let me zoom out. Your first 2 are your parallel lines, just like our picture on the front. Then I'm going to take my third one. That's going to be my transversal, and I'm going to cut through the parallel lines. Now, transversal can cut anywhere. Our picture had it look like this. Ooh, that's real blurry, y'all. Better? Beautiful. Okay. So it can look like that. It could cut it straight through like this. It could cut it this way. It's just anywhere it cuts it. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Normally when you see it, it's going to be cut like this, kind of leaning toward the right like that. So there's our 2 parallel lines cut by our transversal. Just like the rest of our lessons, I have a dump for you. So corresponding. What I want you to do for this is you're going to label. Here is the left side of the line. Here is the right side of the line. So now I have a left and a right side. If I'm just, maybe it's focusing, there we go. Maybe if I put this in the picture, it'll focus on something. I don't know, sorry y'all. Okay, so if I just look at this top part right here, I've got 4 different angles that formed. I've got an angle here, an angle here, and an angle here, and an angle here. I've got those 4 angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this one my top left, and I'm going to label it TL for top left. So then the other one on the other side of the line, what do you think I'm going to call that? Top right. So it's on the top and it's on the right side. Then I'm going to go down here and I've got bottom left, bottom right. So again, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right is how I'm labeling it. But I've also got another set. So it's like I took this, I cut it out, and I'm copying and pasting the same thing down here. I've got this same angle relationship happening right here, same exact thing. So again, I'm going to label TL, TR, BL, BR. And again, that stands for top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So when we're talking about corresponding angles, that means that they are in the exact same position. So if we get our Skittles out, I want you to find two Skittles that are the same color. I'm going to use yellow, doesn't matter what colors you use. And I'm going to place this first yellow Skittle in the top left position up here. So if I place that one in the top left position and I try to find the other corresponding angle, it means it has to have the same name. So it has to be the other top left. Well, there's only one other top left, which is found down here, which is yellow. And I'm going to put my yellow one there. Now, if it's the same color Skittle, that means that they are the same exact angle. So this angle right here for top left is the exact same degree as this angle for top left. So let's say they told me that this angle is 80 degrees. Ooh, there we go. Well, if this is 80 degrees, then what's this top left one? If they're the exact same. 80 degrees, right? They have to be the exact same. Okay, so now let's get another set of Skittles. I'm going to pick green this time. And let's say I put green in this top right down here. If I found the other corresponding angle, so it's in the same position, just on the other side, I copy and pasted this right here. Where's my other top right? Up here, so these would be the same. And what's that word in math we use for the two angles being the same? Or two shapes being the exact same? Congruent, right? Congruent means same size, same shape. So these two top rights are the exact same. If I call this one 60 degrees, what's this guy? 60 degrees, right? So let's get another color. I put this red one down in bottom left. Where am I going to put my other red one? Bottom left. So these two are congruent. And then lastly, let's pick, oops, let me throw them on the floor. I'm going to put my purple for bottom right. And then I'm going to put my other one down here for bottom right. So if you look at all my colors that I have, these are corresponding. This yellow and this yellow are corresponding angles. They're both in the top left position. Corresponding again means they're in the same position. The green ones are in the same position. Red ones are in the same position, and purple ones are in the same position. Okay, so we're going to take what we did here with our spaghettis, and we are going to write it on our paper. So let's grab our paper. So again, we're in corresponding, and that just means, let me get the color. Same position. Same position. And our dump for this was I have a left and a right side, and then I write TL, TR, top left, top right, BL, BR, bottom left, bottom right, and I have the same exact thing. I cut this out and pasted it down here, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So if I were to color, like we did with our Skittles, top left angle right here is congruent or the same to this other top left angle right here. Then if I do top right, it's congruent or the same to this other top right down here. They have the same name. Bottom left is congruent to bottom left. Again, this is exactly what we just did with the Skittles. And then I've got bottom right bottom right. So if they have the same color, that means they're the exact same measurement, and these are corresponding angles, same position. Okay, moving on to vertical angles. This one's my favorite, vertical angles. So let's grab our spaghetti again. Again, I'm going to make my parallel lines. Y'all can leave these out on your desk. You don't have to reset it every time. I've got parallel lines. Cut it by my transversal. And again, I made all of these angles, 8 different angles now. Vertical angles. If you notice in vertical angles, there's a V for vertical, right? If I draw a line through it, what did I make? What did I just make? It's kind of blurry, but I made an arrow. Vertical angles point to each other. Vertical angles point to each other. So if I have this angle here, inside of this one, there's my V. And if I were to draw an arrow, where is that pointing to? It's pointing to this guy over here, right? They're pointing to each other. There's my V, there's my arrow. There's my V, there's my arrow. So those two are also congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. Same size, same shape. So I'm going to use yellow. Again, doesn't matter which Skittle you get. But I'm going to place this one here, and the congruent one, the vertical congruent angle, is the one that's pointing to it, which is this other guy over here. So these are congruent, vertical congruent angles. Then if I look at my next set, I've got my V here for my angle. Here's my arrow, and it's pointing across at this guy here, and he's pointing back at him. So those two are vertical angles, which are congruent. So I'm going to use green for these. Those are the same. Remember, if they're the same color Skittle, they're congruent. So I've got 2 sets of congruent angles, and they're vertical angles. Well, guess what? I still have this other set down here. And again, these are pointing. There's my V. Make my arrow, and he's pointing down at this guy. I'm going to use purple. Those two are congruent. They're pointing at each other. And then I've got this other set here. Whoops. And they're pointing at each other. And I'm going to use orange for that. So there's my sets of vertical congruent angles. They make a V. These are also known as kissing angles. So if you look, they're touching noses. They're kissing when they join together. Join together. Kissing angles. So if you remember the arrow way, the V makes a arrow, or they're kissing angles, they're touching noses. So let's mark this on our paper. So I'm here in the vertical box. Vertical, what I want you to do is take that V and turn it into an arrow. Take the V and turn it into an arrow. And if you want to write out beside it, kissing angles. Kissing angles. So if we look at it, this angle is touching that guy, those two. Then I've got these two. And then down here. And down here. So in this, how many total sets of vertical angles do I have? Remember, a set is 2. So how many total sets do I have? 4, right? Look, I've got this pink set. Those are touching noses. Those are kissing. There's 1 set. The purple set is 2. Yellow set 3. Blue set is 4. So there's total 4 when you have a set of parallel lines cut by a transversal. There should be 4 vertical angles. Those are congruent. Okay, next I want to move on to alternate interior angles. So let's get out our spaghetti again. Oh, and before I do that, I do want to look at the word alternate. Got the word alternate, I want you to highlight or underline or highlight, circle, whatever you want to do, that L and that R. L and R. Those are the important things in alternate. Anytime you see alternate, I want you to think L and R for left and right. So I've got my parallel lines. Cut by my transversal. And again, it means alternate means left and right. So like we had earlier, we had a left side and we have a right side. Left and right. And then we also had that word, what? Alternate interior. So on the side here, I want you to write E-I-E-I-O. E-I-E. And we don't have an L. We ran out of space. But we've got E-I-E. And this stands for exterior, interior, exterior. Because if you look, all of these inside of here are interior angles. They're inside this set of parallel lines. All of the angles out here are exterior angles. They're outside the set of parallel lines. And we kind of talked about with triangle sum theorem, or exterior angle theorem. Exterior meant it was on the outside of the triangle. Same thing here. These are on the outside of these parallel lines, the set of parallel lines. So we're looking at alternate interior. So we're not looking at this angle, this angle, this angle, or this angle because they're in the exterior. We're only looking at these 4 angles inside of here. And we said alternate before meant left and right. So alternate means you have to have one angle on the left and one angle on the right. So I'm on the inside. If I chose this to be my angle right here, it's on what side of the transversal? The left, right? So my other one has to be on the right side of the line, right? Well, if I'm looking for the one that is congruent or the same, that would be this guy down here. Because if I look at the guy right next to him, he's way bigger. They do not look the same at all. So alternate interior means I've got one angle on the left side, which we chose right here, one angle on the right side, and they're both on the interior. None of them are on the exterior. So those 2 are congruent. Well, then I've got another set here. If I put one here, one's on the left, I've got to put the other one on the right. There's only one spot left for that. So how many sets of alternate interior angles are there in this picture? Well, there's a yellow set and a purple set. So there's 2 sets of alternate interior angles. So let's color those on our paper. Oops. Wrong way. So let's label our left side, right side, E-I-E-I-O. And again, I'm only looking at the interior. So if I have one here, on the left side, I've got to pick another one on the interior. On the right side, well, I've got this big guy here. Does he look congruent at all to that guy? No, this one's way, way bigger. So the other one has to be this guy. Those are congruent. They're the same. Remember, same colors means they're the same shape, same size. Then I've got this guy. He's on the right side. So I've got to pick another one on the left in the inside. Well, there's only one left right here. So those are the same. Those are my alternate interior angles. So that means if I said this blue angle here is 120, what's this guy? 120, right? If I said this guy here is 60 degrees, the purple one, then what's this guy? 60, right? Okay, now I want to look at alternate exterior. Again, we've got the word alternate. Anytime I see alternate, what am I thinking? Left and right. Those should stick out at you, left and right. It means I'm going to have a left side and I'm going to right side. Then it's talking about exterior. So if I get my spaghetti, I've got my parallel lines again, cut by my transversal, alternate, but this time it says exterior, so I'm not in the inside. I don't care about this one, this one, this one, this one, none of those. I'm only looking at these. So if I picked an angle here, this one, which one would I pick? So I already have one on the left. It said alternate, so I have to pick one on the right. Right exterior, there's two options. Well, look at this guy. He looks way bigger than this guy, so it's got to be this one. This is our alternate exterior angle. One's on the left, one's on the right. Well, then I've got another set. Let's say I put this guy here on the right. My other one has to go on the left side of the line. So I'm going to get another purple Skittle, and I'm going to put it on the right or left side. And there's only one place for him to go because it has to go on the exterior. So there are my alternate exterior angles. And how many sets of those do we have? 2, right? We've got our orange set. Those are both congruent. And we've got our purple set. So if I said these purple were 70 degrees, if this one right here is 70 degrees, what's this guy over here? 70 degrees. So let's draw that. Again, I've got my E-I-E-I-O. I'm on the exterior, so if I have this angle, he's on the left, I've got to pick the other one that's on the right. That's not it, he's too small, so it's this guy over here on the right exterior. Then I've got this guy, he's on the right. So I've got to pick one on the left exterior. The only one left is that one. So those are congruent. Blue is congruent to each other, and the orange is congruent to each other. Okay, and then we're on to supplementary. Supplementary. What I want you to do... Oh, thank you. Hey, your paper does not say supplementary. Your paper is going to say consecutive. What I want you to do is cross that out. Cross that out, and you're going to write supplementary. See if I can spell that right. Supplementary on top of it. So cross it out, write supplementary on top of it. We don't really talk about the consecutive interior and consecutive exterior in 8th grade math, but we do talk about supplementary and complementary. So with supplementary, what I want you to do is take this S here for supplementary. Let's find a place to write it. I'm going to write it down here. We have an S for supplementary. It's down there. What I want you to do is take that S and put a line through it. And what did I just make with the S? I just made a number. What did I make? An 8. And I want you to add a 1 and a 0 and a degree sign. Supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Add up to 180 degrees. So if I have my spaghetti here, what did we learn about with triangles? Remember we had that triangle proof? And it was that really weird song I made y'all listen to. We learned that if I take off the edges of the triangle, turn it around, I made a straight line with my triangles and it formed 180. So anywhere you have a straight line, that's 180 degrees. So I've got a straight line here, right, from here to here. There's a straight line. I've got a straight line here, that's 180 degrees. Straight line here is 180 degrees. Straight line here is 180 degrees, but I'm not done yet. Look here, I could also have a straight line this way, and I could have this being 180 degrees. And then I could also have a straight line this way, and this could be 180 degrees. And same thing down here, I could have this 180 and this 180. So there's quite a few sets of supplementary angles in here. So again, you're saying that they add up to 180 degrees. So if I gave you this angle right here was 70 degrees and I told you to find x, could you find it? Yeah, you could, right? Because we said, look, this makes a straight line. So 70 plus x equals 180, right? And if I subtract 70 from both sides, I've got x equals 110 degrees. So if you've got one angle on a straight line, you could find the others. So on here, it's going to be kind of hard to mark, but let's try our best. How should we mark this? Let's do...
Don't color them, just like outline them.
Let's do this guy and this guy. I'm not going to color them in because, again, they're not congruent. They're equal to 180. This guy are equal to 180. This guy equal to 180. Oops.
So we go back.
This guy equal to 180.
So these, like them yellow.
Which two?
Those two, like on your left.
Like this?
Yeah.
Those two are equal to 180. These two equal to 180. No? These two are equal to 180. And then these two are equal to 180. Again, it's really difficult to kind of see, but if they form a straight line, they're 180 degrees. And again, if you have a better way of marking on your notes, please do so. Okay, complementary is number last. We're almost there, y'all. Y'all are doing an awesome job.
We're at 28 minutes.
Complementary. So what I want you to do here is we're going to look at the C in complementary. So let's draw a big C. And then what I want you to do with that big C is we're going to turn it into a 9 by drawing a line straight down and then adding a 0. Complementary angles equal 90 degrees. 90 degrees. What's the complementary angles?
There's none.
If we look at what's happening here, there is no complementary angles on this picture that we have. But complementary angles equal 90 degrees. So for this one, we're not going to do the spaghettis and smarties for it, but just know complementary equals the 90 degrees. Okay, so what I want to do is go back to the front here. And it's asking, we're looking at this picture up here that we had, and it's asking, it says, give all alternate interior angles. So again, alternate, I see that word, I need an L and R to stick out. So I know I'm looking on the left and the right. Left, right, E, I, E. Also I need to label top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And that's your dump you're going to do every single time. It's having all of that. So then if I'm looking for alternate interior, left and right, on the inside. So if I pick angle 3 on the left, then what other angle matches it? If I'm over here, I've got to go on the right. Well, angle 6 is the other alternate interior. Then I could also have this guy, angle 4. Well, then I've got to pick one on the other side of the line, which would be angle 5. Then if I look at the other one, it says alternate left and right exterior. So I'm on the exterior, 1, 2, 7, and 8. So if I use angle 1, which one's the alternate exterior of angle 1? Well, I've got to go on the other side, so the right side. Angle 2 is too small, so angle 8 is the other congruent one. Those are equal. And if I pick angle 2, the alternate exterior would be angle 7. Then if I look over here, let's skip to vertical. There's a lot of vertical. Remember, these are our kissing angles, or the ones that make arrows. Well, again, angle 1 points to angle 4. Angle 2 points to angle 3. Angle 5 points to angle 8. And angle 6 points to angle 7. So those are our vertical angles. And I'm not going to worry about these two, so you can just cross those out because we did not go over those. But there it is. There's our dump. Those are all the angle pairs we have. So again, we had corresponding, these are in the same position. We had alternate interior, means that one's on the left side of the line, one's on the right side, and they're all in the inside of these parallel lines. We also had alternate exterior, one's on the left, one's on the right, but they're on the outside, the exterior of the parallel lines. Vertical angles point to each other, or they're called the kissing angles. They're rubbing noses. And then we talked about supplementary. We turn that S into an 8 to make 180. They add up to 180 degrees or form a straight line. And then complementary angles add up to 90 degrees.